Hey everybody, welcome back. This is day 2 of the Model 3 road trip. It's not as eventful as day 1. I did meet up with my friend in South Bend, Indiana, and that took up a few hours of the day for travel. But I did continue up into St. Joseph, Michigan. Which is the first state of, I believe, 14, possibly 15 states that I'll visit on this trip that I have not been to in the continental United States. So that was good. I got one checked off. From there, I went right on through around Chicago, and I'm right now in Rockford, Illinois. And I will be heading up to Clearwater, Minnesota tomorrow. From there, I'll be going out through Alexandria and then into North Dakota and continuing on. But I think this actually is going to be probably it for tonight. Morning, everybody. This morning we start our trip in Rockford, Illinois. Last night was a lot better. I set the HVAC to 76 degrees and had it running all night. Didn't really run into any problems. I was perfectly warm. That seemed to be the perfect setting to keep the back area of the car at a good temperature to sleep in. It snowed last night. It's still snowing this morning. I think we probably got, I don't know, 3 inches last night. It's still coming down, which should make for some interesting traveling conditions. And today we're on our way to Clearwater, Minnesota, which I'm sure probably won't make for any better traveling conditions. It seems like everywhere I'm going, of course, and will be for a while up in the northern states of the US, is going to be a lot of just crappy weather. So it is what it is, and we're going to keep on moving. See you at the next stop. Hello, welcome back. I am in Madison, Wisconsin, on my way up to a very big surprise for the next video. And on the way up through Wisconsin, I ran into near whiteout conditions on the interstate, and I do have some dash cam footage of that. There was also an accident, and I believe I have some footage of that. It was just the van that had slid off the road and rolled over down into the median, just because the weather was, you couldn't see, and if someone braked in front of you and it was so slippery and icy, it was very treacherous. And one thing I've noticed is when the weather is good and you can put the car on autopilot or feel safe about putting the car on autopilot, there's like no fatigue at all from road tripping. But when you actually got to have your hands on the wheel and you got to be hyper focused on the road because of the conditions, it's exhausting. So hopefully I don't have to run into any more of this and the bad weather is over and we can just cruise. Let's see how well that goes, and we'll see you at the next big adventure. Okay, so it's the end of day 3, and my final stopping point for tonight is in Alexandria, Minnesota. When I left Rockford, Illinois this morning, I went all the way to Madison, Wisconsin. Then I went to St. Paul just to fill up so I could go to the Mall of America. Now, why is it called the Mall of America? Well, it just happens to be the largest mall in the United States. I mean, this place is huge. I did take a few photos, which you can take a look at. They don't do it any justice. This place is 4 stories high. Here's a look at some of the levels. I got that from the directory. It's like an automatic touchscreen directory. And then those are all over the mall, and they have to be because you get lost. I mean, I was nervous even with the directories to take too many turns or walk too far. I mean, I could have walked straight, it seems like, for days. You know, the biggest mall we have in Vermont would fit probably in 1/4 of one level of this mall. It was ridiculous. And then there was this whole section, like a play area or amusement park area theme thing, had a Lego theme section on it. I got a little bit of video of this gigantic, I don't know if it was a transformer or what it was, huge Lego sculpture. There was other smaller Lego sculptures below it, but this thing was huge. Here's the video of that. Look at this stuff. It's huge. Made out of Legos. So then I left the mall, and then I went all the way to Clearwater. From Clearwater, I drove to Alexandria. Now, in between Clearwater and Alexandria, there was this weird section. Now, we've all seen billboards if you've left Vermont. We've all seen them. But you haven't seen them like this. It was like billboard palooza. I mean, there was a section on the interstate where there was billboards, I mean, multiple, like one right after another on both sides of the interstate facing my direction. It was nighttime, so I really hope the dash cam was able to pick up that footage, and here's that. And of course that brings me to Alexandria. And in Alexandria, the reason why I came here was because it's halfway to my next stop in North Dakota. But this will also be the place where I'm going to be able to get a shower. So we're going to go through that tomorrow on how that whole shower process works, how much it costs, and just go through the entire process so you know how to do that if you're ever traveling and you don't want to have to get a hotel room just because you need to shower. The other issue with being in this neck of the woods is that there are no more superchargers. This is like I think one of the only ones that there are, but one of the big gaps in the Tesla supercharger network. Between Clearwater, Minnesota and all the way out to the western side of Montana, there are no superchargers. So you got to rely on level 2 chargers, and I just happened to be at an emergency room, hospital of some sort, in Alexandria, and they have some charging for EVs, and one of them just happens to be a destination charger, which is basically the same charger that I use when I'm at home. And it's basically a Tesla wall connector, and it's outside, and I'm plugged into it right now, and I'm getting about 24 miles per hour, which compared to a supercharger, which gives you anywhere from 80, 90 miles per hour all the way up to almost 500 miles per hour. That's a big difference. So that's what I'm gonna have to be dealing with from now on until I end up back down in southern South Dakota, and that's where I'll be able to pick up superchargers again, and I shouldn't have to worry about it again for the rest of the trip. But this is gonna be a little bit tricky because now instead of charging in less than an hour or in 20 minutes, now I have to charge for 4 or 5 hours. So each stop. So I gotta be really careful of my speed, wind, temperature, all those things I need to take into consideration around these parts so that I can make sure that I don't, you know, run out of charge. This will be the only part of the trip I'll actually have real range anxiety. Anyway, it is 12:05 a.m. so I'm gonna hit the sack in the back, and we'll catch y'all on the flip side tomorrow morning. Hey guys, alright, so this is a rare opportunity, at least so far in the trip, where I'm actually able to test out something that I've always wanted to test out on and major interstates. So I'm on I-94 West, leaving Minnesota, heading into North Dakota, and It is 8:19 in the morning and there is like no one on the interstate. So what I'd love, and right now I am in navigate on autopilot. So the car is doing the driving, and what's amazing about that is there is 30 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts blowing new snow across the interstate. Let me see if I can get a video for you. Not sure how well this is going to come out. But I also got some dash cam footage of this as well. So wind is obviously blowing laterally across the interstate, and this car is in complete autopilot doing its thing. It's staying, knowing where it is in the road, and it's perfectly staying where it needs to stay. So that in itself is amazing. But one test that I've always wanted to do, because I've heard some conflicting information, is I want to see what happens to ignore the prompts. And what I mean by ignore the prompts, at interstate speeds, or when you're in autopilot, it will ask you to touch the steering wheel just to make sure that your hands are on the wheel and that you're paying attention and that you're alert and that you're not asleep or you haven't had a medical emergency. And in those events that you are asleep or you are having a medical emergency, I want to know exactly what the car is going to do. I know that it disables the autopilot until you're able to pull over, put it in park, and restart again. I'm fine with that. I can do that. I'm not worried about that. But I want to see, does it actually come to a full stop in the middle of the interstate? Like, what if that were to happen on an interstate like today, where you have near whiteout conditions because of the blowing snow, and somewhere to come up and back you? Does it put on the four ways automatically? Does it pull over to the side of the road? Does it even know to pull over to the side of the road because it's a solid white line on that side? A lot of just, for me, unanswered questions, and I figured what better way to test it than to just do it. I'll show you what it's like to attend to a prompt, and then at the very next prompt that we have, we will simply ignore it. So let's give it a shot. You can see the screen, which you'll see a prompt come on. That's the prompt right there. It says apply light force to the steering wheel, and then it blinks up here to let you know that you need to do it. So we're going to go ahead and just touch the steering wheel. That's it. That's all it takes. Just a little touch of the steering wheel to know that we're alive and that we're awake. Now the next time this happens, we're going to completely ignore it and see what happens. That warning on there is just telling me my tire pressure is low. Okay, so there's the warning telling me to apply pressure. Blinking light. Let's see what it does. Okay, audible warnings to pay attention. Audible warnings getting worse. There we go. Auto steer unavailable for the rest of the drive. Four ways are on, and the car is coming to a complete stop. It did put the four ways on for us, but it was just gonna stop in the middle of the highway. There you have it, folks. That's how that works. Now we know. No more questions. Hello there. So let's talk about where I am and what I'm doing and how things are going. First off, I have found the holy grail of traveling if you're not going to be staying in a hotel. And here it is. So this is a book which gives state by state all the places that the Pilot Travel Center truck stops are located in. And these truck stops have wonderful, wonderful showers. So I was able to, in Alexandria, Minnesota this morning, able to take a wonderfully hot shower for as long as I wanted. And it was amazing. So when I left Vermont on Monday, I'd showered that morning, and this is the first shower that I've had since then. Oh my goodness. It's amazing what a shower will do to brighten your day. And the cost was $12. So it was pretty reasonable. I do have some other costs that I want to go through, because I did say that I would update you on costs as we move along through things. So I left Alexandria this morning with a fairly full charge, and I am in Fargo, North Dakota. It's just one of those places that I've always wanted to go, and it's going to be corny, but I'm just one of the big fans of the movie Fargo. Steve Buscemi is fantastic. At the Element Hotel in Fargo, and what's great about this particular place is they are really green. They have a destination charger here, and they also have just a regular level 2 EV charger. I believe it's a J1772. And right now at the destination Tesla charger, I'm pulling 40 amps. And right now, because the battery is so cold from the drive up, I'm only getting like 12 miles per hour. I mean, it's telling me I'm going to be here for like 20 hours, and that would not be good. But I'm assuming once the battery warms up, this will kick into higher gear, and hopefully I'll be out here soon. So today is day 4. I'm hoping to be in Washington in at least 2 days. Let's go through some costs. I did some things in preparation for this trip that I didn't mention in the beginning of this entire trip, but some things that you should know just in case, because you never know what's going to happen. So in preparation to come here, I obviously had to buy the mattress, and that was $82.99. I bought a flashlight, very important to have when you're on a road trip. I bought a shovel. That's one of those, not collapsible, well, it's kind of collapsible shovel, so in case I went off the road, I could dig myself out. I bought a machete as a flint stick with it, a cordage on the handle. It's got a lot of survival type things on it. And then I bought a set of traction mats. So basically it's just rubber mats with tread on them that you stick underneath your tires in case you're stuck off the road. The total for the preparation column is $162.18. Food so far up to a little over $107. Tolls. Now tolls have been ridiculous. Too many toll booths. So the total for tolls so far, $44.05 in tolls. Now, then there are some miscellaneous items that I have here that just didn't really fit in the category. I did a quick, self-spray car wash, and that just once so far, and that was $2.50. And then I had an ATM fee, and that was a $3, ATM fee. And then the shower was $12, which was probably the best $12 I've spent on this trip so far. So in the miscellaneous category, we're looking at $17.50. I haven't got into the charging cost yet, but I will. So stay tuned for that. As always, let's keep those batteries charged.